Good afternoon, everybody. It is Melissa Johnson speaking. I am the Principal Psychologist and the Director of Thriving Mind Psychology Clinic located here on the beautiful Sunshine Coast. I am coming to you live today. I'm actually in my car, but I'm outside the Caloundra Event Centre. I'll switch around so you're not seeing the back seat of my car. And I am here because I have just attended an event. For those of you who are familiar, it was the High Tea by the Sea. And I have been here, and this event is actually a fundraiser for breast cancer. So all the mums out there, please remember that October is actually Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So go and get checked. Please do not delay it. Go and get checked. It's very, very important. But I was here today because at the last minute, a friend of mine messaged me and said, I have a spare ticket, would you like to come? And I'm not normally one to go and attend events. I'm normally pretty introverted. I do like to stay at home and be with my friends and family. So this was something a little bit outside of my comfort zone and something a little bit unusual for me. But because I've been speaking to you all about stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing things for yourself, I decided I had to lead by example and come along today. And it has been a really lovely event. The problem that occurred, though, is for me, it has triggered some mother's guilt. And this happened on Friday afternoon when I realised that I had committed to coming along to this event, but I had also already booked in my hair appointment yesterday. So what that meant was I was actually out away from the house and away from my kids and my husband for most of the morning yesterday and pretty much a good part of today. And straight away, that triggered for me a lot of mother's guilt. And I found myself indulging, I guess, in this thought pattern around, oh no, that's not okay. You should be a better mum. You shouldn't be out and about. You should be at home with your kids. That's more important. They're a bigger priority. And then I started thinking, okay, well, maybe I need to cancel an appointment. Maybe I just shouldn't go to those appointments. Maybe I have to be at home. And this went on since Friday night. To the point where actually yesterday afternoon, hi Debbie, thanks for joining, I'm talking about mother's guilt. You might be able to relate to this one. So to the point that actually yesterday afternoon, I said to my husband, maybe I just shouldn't go. And he said, no, don't be ridiculous. So it got me thinking about mother's guilt and how this happens and why this happens and what we can do about it. So first of all, what is guilt? Well, guilt is actually not a bad thing. Guilt is important for us as human beings to experience, especially when it's appropriate guilt. So when we do something wrong, when we do something bad, do bad by someone or break a law, let's say, often we experience guilt, which is a good thing because it makes us feel remorseful, it makes us reflect on what we do, and generally it makes us either go and rectify the situation or go in or learn from the situation. So guilt is actually a really good thing in the right context. The problem is sometimes we can experience inappropriate guilt. And what that means is it's guilt that we experience when we haven't actually done anything wrong. And this is kind of where the whole mother's guilt comes in. We experience this guilt because we have certain expectations that we place upon ourselves, like all these shoulds and musts. I should be a good mum. I must be at home with my children. I should always be there for them. I should nurture them, protect them, care for them, play with them, all of these sorts of shoulds and musts. So when sometimes something comes up and we feel as if we've betrayed those expectations or we've not met those expectations. So for me, being away most of the weekend, being at this event for many hours today, being away from home yesterday, that triggered for me this guilt because I felt I hadn't been meeting these expectations. And again, these expectations come from our innate desire to care for our children and to nurture our children, which is also a very good thing. It helps us create that bond and attachment with our kids, which is great. It's one of these things that we also need. We need that innate desire to care for them. But what happens is we set these really high expectations of ourselves and therefore we have guilt. So what can we do about it? Well, to be honest, I don't actually think that we can ever really get away or we can never not experience guilt, because as I said, guilt is something that we all have and is actually something that's quite important. But what do we do with inappropriate guilt when we're experiencing mother's guilt? Something that I often share with my clients, not just for guilt, but when we're thinking in unhelpful manners, but particularly in this situation, what I often suggest is to ask yourself a question. And that question is, would I expect this of somebody else? Do I think this of somebody else? And this is what I had to do yesterday afternoon. So yesterday afternoon, I said to myself, right, I'm going to a function with over 400 women, and I'm sure many of them have children. Do I think of them what I am thinking of myself? So do I look at them and think, oh, they're a bad mum because they're out and about. They're a bad mum because they're attending a function. They should be at home. No, I don't think that at all. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. I actually admire a lot of those women because they are able to make those things a priority. They're able to take time out for themselves. They're able to manage their family. They're able to manage their businesses, their home life, all of those important things, and still make that time to go and attend events for themselves. So I admire them, but yet at the same time, I think I'm being a bad mother. So then I said to myself, well, that's not good enough. It's not okay to have double standards. You can't expect something of yourself that you don't think or expect of somebody else. So that is my tip for you in terms of managing mother's guilt. Ask yourself the question, is this what you would say to somebody else? Is this what you would say to your auntie, to your daughter, to your sister, to a cousin, to a friend, or even to a stranger on a street? And the answer is probably no. And then ask yourself, well, what would I say? And that is exactly what you should be saying to yourself. So that is my tips around mother's guilt. Of course, that's going to keep popping up time and time again. But I do hope next time that it does pop up for you, you're able to ask yourself that question. Is this something that I expect of someone else? Is this something I would say to someone else? And if you wouldn't say it to someone else, don't say it to yourself. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching live, Debbie. I hope you've enjoyed listening today. And don't forget, there's never been a better day than today to take the steps to have your thriving mind and your thriving life. Bye for now.